I've been listening to the 99% Invisible podcast, and they've been talking about the book The Power Broker by Robert Caro. Apparently, it's a huge book. It was written 50 years ago, and it's about 1,100 pages. It's all about New York and Robert Moses and 44 years of his life and the power that he wielded to shape the city as it is today. The final line of the book is a very powerful line. It's very insightful and it's quite poignant. Um, so, this huge book, they've been talking about it over the course of a whole year. And now, in the final episode, they have an interview with Robert Caro, the author of the book. As I say, it was written 50 years ago. And they talk about this last line and they ask him about it. And he says that he was having enormous difficulty. He'd collected all the information, or he'd done all the research, he'd got all the material together, and he didn't know how to organize the book. And then he heard this quotation. It was something that he overheard at an event that Robert Moses was speaking at. And he says, when I heard that line, in that moment, the book came together and I knew what was the theme of the whole book and how to organize it. And then he says, ever since then, he's known when he's written a book, he has to have the last line before he starts writing. Now, the sort of books that I write collections of essays, I write poetry, even with children's books. I mean, with a children's book, you might know where you're going. You might be heading to a final scene, but that idea of a final sentence, which is your goal, your target through all the writing process, I'm intrigued. And I'm wondering if any of you out there who are novelists or write long form non-fiction can shed a little light on whether this is something that makes sense to you. So, how do you know how the book's going to end before you start it? Or do you just follow it until you get where you find this seems to be the place to end? I'd like to know.